bored and I'm like, what time is it? Like, what's happening? But this year I was like, oh, okay, it's daylight savings. I 100% know that it's coming, and I can prepare for it by like going to bed early. I knew about it, but it still sucks. Yeah. But I was just like, or I could watch Made in Abyss and watch like 4 episodes and get to bed at the same time that I normally get to. And, you know, that's what I did. So, but it's all good. I'm not operating any heavy machinery. I just got a long day of yoga and drawing and like editing ahead of me. So everyone's safe. I don't have to drive or anything. So today's class that I have planned, loosely in my brain, it includes Chandra Namaskar, which is moon salutations. So most modern day yoga, or like yoga people think about, like asana, like movement practice, is based around Surya Namaskar. Those are sun salutations, and so it's like a yoga burpee, basically. I mean, that's the least romantic way of explaining it. They're literally were invented as a combination of burpees and Russian gymnastics. So, yes, so not romantic when you put it that way. However, super effective. Like, there's a reason that multiple cultures use it, and India adopted it into their yoga system as they started a renaissance of their own culture post British colonization. Anyway, I'm going off on history. My point is that today we're working on moon salutations, and if there's anything that is going on in your body that you'd like to specifically address, or something that you'd like to specifically stretch out, or work on, build up, just drop it in chat at any point, even during the meditation. Like, I don't look at chat while we're meditating, but after, when we start moving, I'll make sure to include whatever shoulder, neck, leg, foot, whatever stuff you've got going on that you'd like to give some attention to. It is a caffeinated tea kind of morning. Oh, so hot, so good. All right. So, as always, everything that I lead you through is an invitation. So please don't get hung up on how a posture looks. I'm more committed that you focus on how it feels. So my intention is that you leave the mat feeling better than you did, stepping onto it, so you know where your limit is. And if you don't, this is a great place to find out. We'll press right up until that edge, and then decide to back off or decide to press up against it. Yeah? All right. Start with a comfortable seated position for our grounding meditation. Then we'll move into movement, move into the asana practice with yoga poses, stretches, some a functional movement, lymphatic shaking, and all of that. And then we'll end with a nice long shavasana final relaxation pose that'll be reclining in at the end with some Tibetan singing bowls. Oh, my clock still says 7:30. That's okay. So let me hop off the internet here so that just my computer's getting it. Cool. Coming to a comfortable seat, I like sitting in Sukhasana, that's cross-legged. Translates to easy sitting pose from Sanskrit. If you're sitting in a chair, that's just fine too. We'll sit with heart over hips, head over heart. Hands come to rest on the lap, either palms down to ground down, or palms up to give and receive energy if you feel you've got a little extra to give today. So I want to make sure everything is on silent. There we go. Eyes can close or lower to a soft gaze just beyond your legs. We'll start with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose, shoulders rise up towards the ears, and out through the mouth, shoulders drop away nice and heavy. And returning to a natural breath's pace. In and out through the nose if that's available. We'll take a moment here to arrive. Let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. Become present to yourself here in this moment, here in this space. Begin to allow sounds into your awareness. Perhaps sounds outside your window or even within your home. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. And feel the weight where your body makes contact with the ground below you. Weight of your hands on your knees. And begin to scan your body from head down towards toes. Checking in for any places of tightness or sensitivity, any restlessness or fidgeting. And taking note to work into these spaces that call out for your attention throughout your practice here today. And we'll shift that awareness up from Annamaya Kosha, the body, to Pranamaya Kosha, energetic and breath level. Noticing where you're at energetically on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready to crawl back into bed. 10 being so full of energy it's hard to sit still. And shifting the awareness up to the breath. No need to change it, just observe inhalations, exhalations, and the space in between. Shift that awareness up to Manomaya Kosha, the mind. Allow thoughts and feelings to arise freely, and observing them from a distance. No need to engage. Like a film being projected onto a screen, the story goes on without our direct input. And just notice any tendency you have to engage or rearrange, to hop into a storyline, or to try to shift one out of mind, trying to direct the traffic of the thoughts. Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. And bring the attention back down to the breath. This time actively expanding the breath. Every inhale sips in a little more air. And every exhale lets something more go. Inhale fills belly like a balloon inflating, expanding belly and ribs. And every exhale zips the ribs in, pulls belly button in towards spine. So we're actively expunging all of that air. In and out to the lower belly. Keeping the breath going in and out through the nose if that's available. That just allows the air to be warmed up and humidified on its way into the lungs. We'll layer on our pranayama, our breathing exercise. This month we're working on Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breath. And it's also commonly known as ocean sounding breath. We achieve that by bringing a slight constriction to the throat so that you're able to hear your breath as it enters and especially as it exits, almost like the waves of the ocean. So you can imagine it's like you're trying to fog up a mirror just in front of your face using your nose. So it's loud enough that you imagine the person on the mat next to you, if you were on at a yoga studio, could hear your breath, but perhaps the person 2 mats down couldn't hear you. And keep the breath long and slow, deep, deep breaths, complete exhalations and complete inhalations as well. Jaw is heavy and relaxed. There's space between top and bottom teeth, and the tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth. If the mind wanders, bring it back to the breath. And on your next exhale, releasing any constriction from the throat, releasing any effort from the breath, returning to a natural pace. Ujjayi Pranayama helps us build this relationship with the breath so that we can work with it as a tool on our life off of the mat to help calm the nervous system out of fight or flight, sympathetic mode, into rest and digest, parasympathetic mode. It also helps us build heat in the body. And bring our hands to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. No space between the fingers and the thumbs pressed into the sternum. Consider here setting an intention or a dedication for your practice here today. It might be the sankalpa that you've been working with all year, your New Year's resolution, or some new reason may have shown up for you to arrive at your mat today. The invitation is to set that intention in the affirmative and present tense. For example, it might sound something like, I flow through life with ease and grace. And we'll seal that intention in with the sound of Om. You're invited to chant along with me, of course. First, a cleansing breath. Allow your hands to release down to your lap. Chin drops towards chest. And on an inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Exhaling, chin to chest. And left ear rolls towards left shoulder. Just gently allowing movement to come into the body. And next time the head rolls through center, bring it up to neutral. And begin to roll the shoulders forward, opening up the space in the upper back, space between the shoulder blades. We'll roll the shoulders back, opening the chest. All right, coming to stillness in the shoulders, arms sweep up overhead with a deep breath in. Exhale, bending over to the right, Right hand releases down, left arm reaches over. Inhale up through center. And exhale over left. Really reaching through the fingertips, really pressing down through the right hip. And following the breath here, side to side. Opening up the side body space between the ribs, intercostal muscles. Just beginning to calibrate breath and body here, allowing the speed of the body to really be informed by the length of the breath. The next time we meet with hands up overhead, the exhale will bring us into a twist to the right. Gentle first twist of clasp, potentially of the day. Left hand lands on right knee, right hand lands on the ground behind you, opening the chest towards the side wall. Inhale back up through center. And exhale over to the left. So it's just a nice gentle twist, waking the body up to this motion. Inhale up through center. Exhale, twist right. Especially early on in class, we're just working to calibrate the body and just kind of check in and see how everything's going, how everything's feeling. We're not going for any personal bests or records or anything like that. We'll bend in the elbows, hands come to ear height. Give the hands a wave as we begin to warm up the hands and wrists. And palms flip down, fingers wiggle side to side. Elbows aren't moving, just the wrists and the hands. Palms flip to the sky, so as if your fingertips were going to touch your forearms, fingers spread wide. More rotating. And just like shaking off water, nice and gentle. And 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's work on our neck mobility here. We'll come into our neck rolls. So I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see what the movement is, but you can stay facing the way you are. Seated up tall, the body stays still. Just the head and neck move. Chin tucks down. Like you're making a circle with the nose, reaching it all the way forward, all the way up, back, and it pulls back in. We smooth that movement out. Going to the very far reaches, the very far edges of our range of motion. And we'll change directions. Chin is leading now, reaching all the way up, forward, down, and then chin pulls back in. Slow, smooth movements. Full, deep breaths. Bring the head back through center. Extend the legs out in front, and you can just give your head a little shake out. Releasing any tension, and then extend the legs out in front. Water. And spread and scrunch the toes. Point and flex the feet. So begin to wake up the lower legs and feet. Give the ankles a roll. Change directions. And then we'll bend in the knees. Let's do this. Feet come nice and wide, like mat's distance apart. And then drop the knees left and right. Feet are far enough apart that your legs don't stack. Both knees have the space to land on the ground. And then extend the knees, fall over to the right. We'll land there and stack. So like a zigzag lightning bolt. Right hand lands on the ground behind you. And then we'll lift the hips as the left arm sweeps up. Lifting hips and chest. With a deep breath in. Exhale, releases the hips down to the mat. Left hand comes down, knees come over to the left. Right arm sweeps up, chest and hips sweep up. So connect this to movement. Inhale sweeps you up and open. Exhale, hips touch down and switch sides. Every time you inhale, the motion might just get a little bit deeper as the body begins to open up. We've got one more to each side. We'll meet back with the knees over to the right. Bring the hands down to frame the right knee. We'll bring it into tabletop. Hands under shoulders, knees below hips. Oh, and you can totally be on your yoga mat if you're new here. My floor is carpeted, so that's why my knees are okay, but you should definitely be on some sort of padded surface or blanket. Belly drops, hips and chest rise for cow pose. And exhaling, round in the spine, chin tucks in towards chest for cat pose. Inhaling through cow, hands are pressing down and back, knees are pressing down and forward like I'm trying to scrunch the ground together for a grip and a deeper arch in the spine. Exhaling through cat pose, I'm pressing the hands down and forward, knees down and back like I'm trying to rip the ground apart to bring a deeper rounding to the back. Inhaling through cow pose, and exhaling through cat. After your next exhale, release to center. We'll work on a little wrist resiliency here, turning the hands out and back. So I turn both hands out to the sides and back until my fingertips are reaching or facing my knees. I'm keeping my wrists up, my palms completely glued to the ground. Don't let them lift up at all. And just sending the hips back super slowly, just a bit, to to the edge, and then back over. So I'm really pressing my fingers spread wide, my palms into the ground. And I'm just going to the edge of that flexibility, of that mobility. I'm not going quickly. I'm not using momentum at all here. Completely controlled movement, and the breathing continues. So this should feel, likely it does, and it should feel intense, but it shouldn't feel sharp or like it takes your breath away. And if it does, you just want to back off. Just don't go back that far. So building up this resiliency in the wrists, building up the strength in the wrist, and that just takes time. And it's not really something you can see, it's more so something that you feel. And this undoes all, helps to undo all of that repetitive fine motor skill movement that we do, or at least I'll speak for myself, I know I do all day. Drawing, writing, texting, typing, all these like little movements, or if you drive a lot, you're like have a death grip on your steering wheel. This is helping undo that potential carpal tunnel inducing motion, right? All right, so the next time we press back here, just let the neck be relaxed. We're holding the pose, but not the breath. So full breathing here. Don't let the palms lift up off the ground. Just right at the edge of your flexibility, not past it, just right up until that. We'll bring the weight back up over the hands. Untwist, untwist, tuck the toes under, and we'll walk the hands back to sit up on the heels. So my toes are tucked under, getting a nice foot stretch, toe stretch here. I'm just gonna massage my wrists out a bit. Fingers interlace, and you can like make figure eights, call it wrist flossing. Oh, just get some blood back into those joints. So they're just like pretty complex joint, considering like all the mobility that they have and all the functions that they support in the hands are change directions. So bringing movement into the wrists like this and all these like 360 directions, or maybe there's more degrees, I don't know. It actually sends a signal to the brain or signal to the body to lubricate these joints with synovial fluid. All right, shake it off, 3, 2, 1, and we'll bring it back down to our tabletop pose. Let's step it up. There we go. That's good. Cool. Right foot between the hands, and then left foot between the hands. Heel toe the feet out to the edges of the mat, and then let the hips be heavy and heart be light. So we're going to go between this deep squat position and a forward fold. So legs straighten, head heavy, knees bend, head light. So it doesn't have to be your deepest forward fold or your deepest squat. We're just going from pose to pose, waking the legs up, and just getting the body used to either position. Any clicks or cracks, that's totally fine. We're just kind of getting all those clicks and cracks out of the body throughout practice. And then next time your hips are light and your legs are straight, for this forward fold, we'll hold it here, and the breathing continues. Allow the knees to be a little or a lot bent as you let your head be heavy and release your hands from the ground. So stop pushing the ground away. Instead, just let your body hang. If this brings any tension to the hamstrings or the lower back, bend your knees even more. I mean, your belly could really even be hanging out on the tops of your thighs here. Give the head a nod, yes. Give it a shake, no. You can grab opposite elbows to create a frame for your head for ragdoll,
And here it's just a little free movement. You can rock side to side, bob forward and back. It's really letting the weight of the head and gravity help us in this position to elongate the spine, giving a stretch to the back and the hips. And we'll bring it back to center. Coming to stillness, release the hands. Heel toe the feet in towards one another until big toes touch and there's a little space between the heels so the ankles don't knock together. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. Crown of the head is reaching towards the front of the room, tailbone's reaching towards the back. Deep breath in here. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale rolls you all the way up, one vertebra at a time. Heavy head comes up last. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center for Tadasana, mountain pose. All right, we'll turn to face one another, or depending, if you have your mat set up like this, we're facing one another. You just want to be facing the long edge of your mat, or a long edge of your mat. I feel like I'm just like in darkness over here. Light over. Okay. And bring chat over. Cool. Great. Okay. So standing at the center of your mat, facing the long side. Big toes come to touch, just a little space between the ankles. And inhaling, arms sweep up overhead. Fingers interlace, index fingers release for steeple pose. So it's like you're holding your own hand, and then the palms stick together. Straighten out the arms and pull the biceps back behind the ears. The best of your abilities is really a pull back here. Elongate the lower back, so keeping the lower back from pointing out. We just tuck the hips under. Trying to keep a nice long spine. Deep breath in here. And exhale, we bend over to the right. Hips press out to the left to counterbalance, making a crescent moon shape in the body. Pressing through the left hip, and then notice the right shoulder is going to want to pull behind, but instead press it forward, pulling left shoulder back, trying to open the chest up towards where that front wall meets the ceiling. Strong in the legs, very tempting to bend in this right knee, but we keep the legs straight, 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 keep the arms straight as well, biceps by the ears. One more deep breath in here. And bring it back up through center. Relax the shoulders, tuck the hips to elongate the lower back. Deep breath in to get tall. And exhale over to the left. Hips press out to the right to counterbalance. Now this left shoulder is pressing forward. Legs are strong and straight. Arms pulling back behind the ears. We're breathing into this whole right side body. Really pressing through the hip. Keeping the legs straight. Inhale back up through center. Release the arms out to parallel to the ground like the letter T. And step the feet out. A nice wide stance. Heels come in, toes point out. It's called star pose. Really just a transition pose. But you can really feel it by pressing through the heels, reaching through the fingertips, and the crown of the head's reaching up too. So it's like radiating out. Deep breath in. And exhale, goddess. Bend in the knees, bend in the elbows. So making 90 degrees, keeping knees over ankles, shoulders are pulled back, elbows are pulled back, shoulder blades squeezing in together like you're holding a pencil between your shoulder blades. And see if you can deepen on the exhale. This is a great place to bring back that Ujjayi pranayama, that victorious breath. and press it back up through star. Right toes face the short end of the mat, left toes turn to face the long end of the mat. Might find a little different spacing here. Palms turn so that the thumbs are facing the ceiling, like thumbs up. Yeah. Hands can come onto the hips, and we're going to drop the right hip down. So hips are squared, right hip pops down, like if you're a little teacup. Yeah. Spout reaches towards that front wall. And that hand comes down to the inside of the right calf. It presses into that calf so much so you can use it as leverage to pull this left shoulder back. And then left arm reaches up towards the sky for Trikonasana triangle pose. So even if you know that you can reach the ground, instead, I want you to stay up here, pressing the hand into the calf to help strengthen these obliques, side body muscles, shoulders melted away from the ears, and maybe the head even turns to face the top hand. It's a little balance challenge here. If it brings pain to your neck, bring it back to neutral, tuck your chin in towards your chest, and then look up towards the hand. That should help alleviate some pressure in the neck. One more deep breath here in Trikonasana triangle pose. Then the gaze looks down towards the right foot. Bend in the right knee. Hands come down to frame the right foot in a runner's lunge, rotating or pivoting onto the back toes. So here I'm pressing my hips down and forward. Just getting a bit of a stretch in this front left thigh. Then I'm going to turn both of my feet to face the long end of the mat. Maybe this foot turns onto the heel or it stays down. It's not like one's more advanced than the other. It's just kind of like whatever your leg feels most comfortable doing. And I'm turning so that this right knee and right foot are facing the long end of the mat. So there's two options here. Well, there's unlimited options here. There's two variations. One is that the heel is on the ground. Okay. And then the other is a yogi toe stand. So here's one where the heel is on the ground. Okay. Alternately, you can be on the toes. I'll show you from the side. Just like in our toe stand before with both feet, you can do it with one foot. So the knees lifted up off the ground, thighs parallel to the earth, and now it's like a balancing posture. I need to do a lot more stretching. Well, Dukin, you are in the right place, my friend, because that is like what we do here. So, if this is so, and you're balancing on this toe stand, right, just on the toes, then you can even press the balance a little further by maybe bringing the hands onto the thighs. So you're pressing this extended heel into the ground to help with that balance. Wherever you're at, you might also be here, right? That's cool too. That's great. As long as you're getting a stretch into this left inner thigh, you're where you need to be. It's called Skandasana. All right, so we're bringing it to center. Your hands can come down to the ground for support. This left knee bends, and we shift the hips to center. So our deep squat that we were working in here, with the lifting and the sitting down, my feet are more or less parallel to the front, with a little like 45-degree angle out. So my heels are a little bit closer than my toes. My hips are super heavy. My heart is light. So I'm attempting to get my heart over my hips. Like I'm sitting up against the wall, my shoulders and my hips would hit the wall at the same time. This is called Malasana, deep squat. And the hands can come down and help us out with this, because if you feel yourself rounded and you can't quite get your back straight, You can use your elbows as leverage to press into the knees. So we're going to do that anyway, pressing the elbows into knees, allowing the knees to kind of sink in, and then opening them back up. So Malasana, this deep squat, is a very natural pose for our bodies as humans to be in. It's just like a very not natural pose in Western society in general. But historically and evolutionarily, this is a posture that is like pretty much common across the continents. Before chairs were popular, to use the restroom, even to like help give birth, all sorts of functions. So you get to practice that here. Just got one more breath. Might find some stillness. And then our hands will come down to frame the left foot. So now you're facing the back of the mat. Right leg extends out behind you for runner's lunge. You can give it a couple presses forward and back, allowing the hips to sink down and forward. Still, we keep the left knee over the left ankle. Don't let the knee go past it. All right. Both hands come to the inside of the left foot. Drop the right heel down to the ground so the toes are facing the long side of the mat. And then right arm sweeps open towards the sky. So an extended side angle. Press into the pinky side edge of the right foot. And then power press into the left leg, extending it straight, bringing the back of the hand to the calf. For our Trikonasana triangle pose, we just came into it a different way. I'm using that leverage of the bottom hand, pressing into the calf to open the right shoulder up. Gaze can look up towards the top right hand to give the neck an equal stretch as to the one we had on the other side. So these are Chandra Namaskar Moon Salutations. So obviously they're cyclical, or maybe not obviously, but naturally they'd be cyclical. So we're kind of mirroring one side to the other here. We're strong in that bottom leg. If you're feeling any pain in this knee, bring a little bend to this left knee. So you don't want to be pressing past that edge. Uncomfortable is okay, challenge is okay. We don't want any sharp pain or anything like that in the actual joints. And we'll all bend in this left knee through Warrior Two. Extend the left leg straight. Both toes face out through Star Pose. Bend in the knees, Goddess. Full breath here. And straighten out. Step the feet in. And arms release down. Full breath here. All right, let's round it out with the other side. Big toes come to touch, just a little space between the ankles. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And then fingers interlace for steeple pose. So, say it's your right index finger on top. Change the grip so your left index finger comes on top. Yeah, so just change the grip. So, goofy grip. It'll probably feel a little awkward, but that's okay. We're creating new pathways in the brain by using the less dominant side of our hands. All right. So the biceps are back by the ears. Notice by reaching up, often the bottom, the back will sway. And I just want the opposite to happen. So zip in the core, creating a nice long line. In your next exhale, we'll press it over to the left. Hips press out to the right to counterbalance, really making a crescent moon shape with the body. Legs are strong, no bending in the knees, and this left shoulder presses forward. Pull the right shoulder back. Really opening up the whole side body here. No bending in the elbows. Pulling the arms back, back, back. Chest is opening towards where the front wall meets the ceiling. Full breathing in here. We bring it up through center. Reset, letting the shoulders melt away. Letting the lower back elongate. Deep breath in. And exhale over to the left. Hips press out, over to the right. Hips press out to the left to counterbalance. Making this crescent moon shape on the other side. So I'm really bending in the side body, lateral bend. Right shoulder's pressing forward, left shoulder's pulling back, arms are pulling back, arms are strong, legs are strong, breath is the strongest of them all. Bring it back up through center. And take a giant step out as the arms release down parallel to the ground. Let's bring the heels in, the toes out, thumbs turn to face the ceiling, palms open. Star pose, deep breath in, reaching. And exhale, bend in the knees, bend in the elbows, goddess, Devi asana. Knees are pressing over the ankles. They might have a tendency to fall in, like they're buckling in towards center, but squeeze the glutes, pressing the knees back, tucking the hips under. Shoulders over hips, elbows opening, shoulder blades squeezing together. It's almost like you're a hieroglyphic. Breathing is strong, in and out through the nose, if that's available to you. Ujjayi pranayama, bringing that back into the picture. Use it to help you sustain this posture. Then legs extend, arms extend. Left toes turn to face the short end of the mat. Right toes turn to face the long end of the mat. Hands can come onto the hips and we'll drop the left hip down. So hips are level, left hip drops down. Or popping the right hip up. Little teapot. Spout reaches, and then let that hand come down to the inside of the calf. I'm pressing into this calf so hard that I can use it as leverage to open up the right shoulder and release the arm up towards the sky. Trikonasana triangle pose. Option here to look up towards that top hand. Remember, if this is bringing pain to your neck, you can tuck the chin in towards the chest and use that technique to get the gaze to look up. But if this is throwing off your balance too much and that's becoming like the focus of the pose, you can let your eyes drop down towards the bottom foot. Obviously the ground is going to be more grounding and a more stable drishti, focal point for the eyes to rest on. Got one more deep breath here, strong in the breath. Then everyone's gaze goes down towards that bottom left foot. Bend in the knee, hands come down to frame the left foot. You're in a runner's lunge. Just give it 2 deep breaths here, really pressing the hips down and forward. Left knee over left ankle, it doesn't go past it, to give the right hip a stretch. Then toes from both feet turn to face the long edge of the mat. If your heel touches down to the floor, you can turn the right toes towards the sky, pressing the heel into the ground. If you're working on the yogi toe stand, right, if you're here and you want to work on the toe stand, then what you're going to do is shift forward to lift off of the heel and sit onto it. So my heel is off the ground, I'm sitting on it. If you're up here, don't worry about turning this foot or anything like that. You just pay attention to the inside, that groin area, the inside right thigh, hip flexor. Wherever you're at, it's called Skandasana. So, often our Sanskrit names for poses a pose will be called a name, and then like in different books and in different types of yoga, they'll be, so like different poses will have the same name, but they're all pretty similar, so we don't get super hung up on it, but basically it's a deep side squat. You might be playing with balance on this side. If you did on the other, one side might be different than the other. So just being mindful of that. It's not better or worse, it's just adjusting according to what your body in this moment needs. You don't need it to be perfectly symmetrical to the other side. Maybe you're working towards a more balance on left and right, but more important for you to meet your body where it's at on whatever side you're currently working on. Now we'll meet this in the center for Malasana, deep squat. So the right knee bends and comes in. We're going to let the hips sink down towards center. Bring your hands to the ground for that transition. Let your feet be really wide. So if you're like almost like to the edges of the short ends, of the long ends of the mat. So they're super wide. Feet, they're not open all the way. They're 45 degrees at most, if not working towards parallel to one another. We use the elbows to help leverage our chest up over the hips. So hips are heavy, like a seesaw. See, my hips go back, my shoulders come forward. My hips come forward, my shoulders go back. So we're working towards that nice posture. Deep breath in here. And exhale, look over the right shoulder. Inhale through center. Exhale over left shoulder. Back through center. Last breath here. Hands come down to frame the right foot. Send the left foot back behind you for your runner's lunge. And here we're pressing the hips forward and down. Really pressing the left heel back to get a nice little stretch in the calf even. Right knees over right ankle. Really letting the hips be heavy here for our last breath in this runner's lunge. Then bring both hands to the inside of the left foot. Drop the inside of the right foot, apologies. Drop the left heel down to the ground. The toes are facing the long end of the mat. Left arm sweeps open towards the sky. Extended side angle. And pressing through the front right foot super hard to press the leg straight. The right hand is pressing to the inside of the right calf and using that leverage to pull the shoulder back. Trikonasana triangle pose. Coming into it from the other side. It's our last triangle pose of class, guys. You're doing great. We can turn to look at the top or bottom hand, pending what feels best on the neck. What you did on the other side maybe can help inform it in the first place. And if you're feeling pain in the knee, just remember you can bend it a little bit to get that pressure out from behind. We want to stretch the belly of the muscle. We don't want to be putting strain on the joints. Bend in the right knee through warrior two. Extend the right leg straight. Both toes face out through star pose, reaching far for a deep breath in. Exhale, bend in the knees, bend in the elbows through goddess. Exhaling to deepen the pose. Through star. Hands and feet step together. And release the arms down by the sides. Deep breath in through the nose. Let it go. All right, give your hands a shake. You did it. You made it through your Chandra Namaskar, our moon salutations. Let's bring a shake to the body. So I'm lifting the heels and letting them drop down with bent knees to create a jiggle, a shake. Oh yeah, I have a shaking song. Where are you? Oh, do I not have it? Well. Oh, I guess I don't have it on this playlist. Anyway, we're shaking. This song's great too. Sure, why not? So, we're bringing a shake to the whole body. Yeah, I just realized that I was getting hung up on using non-DMCA music so I wouldn't get copy struck. So it basically means using copyrighted music will get you in trouble. but I'm not selling the music to anybody, and I don't think anybody's gonna tell on me, so I'm just gonna play the music that I want to play during class, and we'll just see how it goes. Alright, so here we are shaking. What are we doing, and why are we doing it? This is called lymphatic shaking, and we're doing it because it helps release tension and stress from the body. So, how does it do that? Imagine it's like a protein shake bottle, and you have a little metal piece inside, and that by shaking it, you get to scrape off all the powdery stuff at the edges, and help it integrate into an actual nutritional beverage. Something like that. In yoga, when we have blocked points of energy, so like knots in your back, things like that, they're called samskara. And basically, the idea is that they build up over time through traumas, big or small. So it could be, often they're things that we don't even remember. It's not even something that you have to like go to therapy to talk out. They're like really just tiny things that make us, jump or build up some sort of tension, grind our teeth in our bodies, and then we don't actually process it to let it go. So when we're young, when we're children, babies, and something scares us, we cry and we shiver and we shake, and then somebody comes over to hold us and comfort us. And at a certain point, you become the person holding and comforting the kids around, and you stop shaking, and that shaking is actually really healthy for you. So this is kind of your opportunity to shake it off, to shake off all that stuff. So really let my shoulders lift and drop, because I know I hold a lot of tension in my neck and shoulders. So I'm extra letting them just go. You can really take up space here. Like you can bring a full jump to it if you have the energy today. But even if you don't, just lifting and dropping here is going to be really beneficial to you. Now, all that exhaling just in and out through the nose. You can exhale through the mouth now here too. Audible sighs or whatever other sound feels good to you. Totally welcome and encouraged here. And just like tension and blockages in the body can be released through lymphatic shaking, tension and blockages in the throat chakra, in our voice, in our audible expression can be released through audible sighs and other exclamations, audible exclamations. So yeah, likely you're not live streaming your experience, so there's really nothing to be ashamed of. You can just literally make whatever sound you want. All right, and the next practice is called Breath of Joy. It's a 4-part breathing exercise. 3 sips of consecutive air in through the nose, and a giant ha exhale through the mouth. It goes inhale, third of the air in, arms sweep up. Inhale, arms sweep out. Inhale, arms sweep up. And a big ha, throw the hands back. So make sure you've got space from all of your furniture and whatnot. We've got about 10 rounds of this. So, in, ha, in, ha, in, ha, 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 ha. 3 left. If you haven't joined in yet, now's your chance. Ha! Ha! Last one, make it count. Ha! Ha! Hand on the belly, hand on the heart. Eyes can close, feet nice and wide, stable stance. I'll just take a moment here to arrive and observe what was created. Taking your body like a snow globe and giving it a righteous shake. And now we stop to observe where that glitter dust settled, what was revealed. And what shows up when we let ourselves take up space physically, audibly, when we let ourselves be loud. Or what shows up to stop us from fully participating. What resistance do we have to taking up space? Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. And we'll gently blink the eyes open. Allow yourself to take a sip of water. Towel off any sweat that perhaps built up. Too much? If you're already on the ground, just stay there. We'll meet you. If not, you can come down with me. Inhaling, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. And exhale, knees bend deep, deep, so deep that you come to seated. And walk your hands back to guide you. All right. So here we are seated. We'll bring the feet in. Knees bend, display open to the sides. Couple rocks out. And give your feet a little massage here. In Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. You guys know, any excuse to sneak in a massage, I'm about it. I was actually thinking about doing some like myofascial release with like tennis balls or like those massage therapy balls. But I'd have to give you guys some time so that you can find some. So maybe we'll set a date later in the week, kind of like how we did chair yoga on Friday, well, last Thursday rather. We can maybe do some myofascial release, some self-massage. That would be something I'd be into, or like I'm into when I'm not on streaming, but maybe that would be good to share with you guys. All right. Anyway, hands come onto the feet or the ankles or even the calves to pull it up straight. Elongating the spine, deep breath in. And exhale, we're going to hinge forward. Belly, chest, head. And let the elbows press into the knees, just like when we were in that deep squat in Malasana. Hi, Sammy. Hi, Mom. I love you. Hi. All right, so we're pressing the elbows into the knees here. You can also do this pose like even if you're on like the couch. Like sometimes I'll just take like a Baddha Konasana stretch break to press. So am I pressing my elbows into my knees towards the ground? Yes. Is my goal to touch the ground? No. My goal is to get to the edge of my flexibility and just kind of hang out there. So it's uncomfortable but not painful. Like I can push my knees further than this and it becomes painful. But that's not really my goal. I just want to be working at that edge of flexibility. It's more like I'm trying to bring my chest to my feet than my nose to my toes or anything like that. always looking to elongate the spine more so than round it. Let the shoulders melt away from the ears. Maybe the head's heavy. You'll notice as you exhale and squeeze the belly button back towards the spine, really exhaling all the way, you have even more space to come down because the belly's out of the way. So you're using the breath to deepen the posture. The breath is returned to in and out through the nose, if that's possible for you. And now that we're not breathing back into the belly, you might start breathing into the upper back, the space between the shoulder blades. Finding new areas in the torso to press your lungs into for that inhale. Last deep breath here. And you bring it back up to seated. Knees come in towards center. Shift it forward, kind of bringing a little front tilt. So all this time we've been tucking the hips under, and now we're doing the opposite. So it's like you're trying to like get the little booty pop, like Donald Duck butt. Yeah, shoulder blades squeeze tight. Hands come behind the knees, and then we'll lift the feet. Urdhva Navasana, upward facing boat pose. So the shins are parallel to the ground, or working towards it. See how my back's already rounded? So let's undo that. Pressing the belly up against the thighs and popping my chest forward, pulling my shoulder blades back behind me. Deep breath in here. And the exhale, the hands might release out by the sides. Inhale, sustain. Exhale, elongate, opening up the angle just a bit, elongating the legs just a bit. Inhale to hold it here. Exhale, extend the legs a little bit longer. Inhale, sustain. Exhale, legs elongate all the way. We're just an inch off the ground. Inhale to hold it. And exhale, full release down. Arms stretch out overhead. Toes points, like trying to go past all four corners of the mat. Full body stretch. And then bend in the knees, feet coming close to the hips, hands release down by the sides, shoulders tuck under. Now your inhale will peel the spine up off the ground for our Setu Bandhasana bridge pose. So the hips, lower back, middle back, and upper back peel up off the ground. And tuck the shoulders under deep, deep, maybe so deep that the fingers interlace. And I'm pressing the forearms into the ground. Pressing the shoulders into the ground, keeping the pressure off of my neck. Squeeze the glutes. Thighs pressing up towards the sky. And the breath is so deep that you can see your belly rise and fall past the tip of your nose. Maybe unlacing the fingers, untuck the shoulders, and roll down one vertebra at a time, gently releasing hips onto the ground. Hug the knees in. You can even give your knees a couple circles. And then both knees gently roll over to the right. Stacking left hip over right hip. Right hand lands on top of the left knee, and the left arm opens up like the letter T. We're pressing this left shoulder down to the ground. You might even look over this extended left arm to complete the spinal twist. Supta Matsyasana, supine spinal twist. Whole body's relaxed here, just the left shoulder's pressing down to the ground. Let the breath and gravity do the work here. Head comes back up through center, knees come back up through center, and we'll gently release the knees over to the left, stacking right hip over left hip. Left hand comes down on top of the right knee, and the right arm opens up like the letter T. Gaze might look over that right arm, and we're just pressing the right shoulder down to the ground. The rest of the body's completely relaxed. We're not forcing or pulling anything. We'll bring the head back up through center, bring the knees up through center, and notice, is there any last movement or wiggle that your body's asking for as we close out the movement segment of our practice here today. So all class, all day, we tell our body what to do, and now we just ask back, is there anything we can do back? It doesn't have to have a fancy yoga name. It can literally be just a wiggle, maybe a body part that called out during your body scan in the beginning of class is calling out for your, that called out for your attention didn't get addressed throughout our movement practice. So you just want to give that an opportunity to be addressed now so that you can more restfully sit and lay through Shavasana and also the rest of your day. This is really your opportunity. This is your class, just your excuse to be here in it, to address anything that's going on physically in your body. So when you ask your body what it would like you to do, it probably won't answer with words. So you're just building up that language with your body where it trusts you to tell you what it needs because you trust that it knows what it's talking about. So you're going to build up, the intention is that you build up this relationship with your body so that you can listen to it and trust it over my voice and adjust the class to do what's best for you. And that voice will get stronger as you practice. And that's pretty beautiful. It's like a whole new relationship that you get to foster. You'd be surprised what good company your body can be. All right, so wrapping up whatever last movements are calling to you. This might also include putting on socks, throwing on a blanket, placing a weighted blanket on your hips. A pillow on your hips can be really nice. As we set up for our Shavasana final relaxation pose, your body temperature will lower in this practice, so covering up is totally invited and encouraged. Let your feet land at least a foot apart from one another. Legs so relaxed that the feet naturally splay open to the sides. Hands release down by the sides. Palms face open. Tuck the shoulders under to support the chest. The palms, as I said, are open, facing towards the sky, a symbol, a mudra of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the full benefits of your practice here today. Head is neutral, nice long cervical spine, a little tuck to the chin, and the eyes can close. That's not comfortable. A soft gaze towards the sky is also allowed, of course. But you're not looking at anything in particular, it's just a soft gaze. If laying like this brings any pain or pressure to your lower back, you can place a blanket underneath your knees or a pillow to keep a gentle bend in the knees the entire time. If you don't have one of those near you, bend your knees super deep, feet come to the outside edges of the mat, knock the knees together, lift the hips, elongate the lower back, so it's a tucking in of the hips, to press the lower back into the ground, and then release all muscular effort, broken bridge pose. Traditionally, it is with the legs down the length of the mat. You do what works best for your body. I'm coming up to seated so that I can more easily lead you through this meditation without yelling at the ceiling. But you stay laying down or seated in the way that works best for you. And also, so I can play you some Tibetan singing bowl. So yoga, yoga, yes, but Shavasana specifically is all about integration. In allowing ourselves some time to integrate all that we've practiced and all that we've done in class. It's almost like sleeping at the end of the night. You get to take your experiences from the day and turn them into deep memories. Right? Shavasana is like that at the end of a yoga class. Letting this body, breath, awareness, wisdom sink into ourselves. So we'll start this just as we did our seated grounding meditation. We'll start with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth with an audible sigh, but just let the shoulders stay melted away. And allow the breath to continue in and out through the nose, inviting the exhalations to become longer and deeper than your inhalations. Every exhale sinking you deeper and heavier into the ground below you. Invite space between top and bottom teeth. And the tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth as the jaw hangs heavy. Lips and cheeks all relax. Nose and nostrils rest. Allowing air to gently pass through like waves, lapping up to shore. Eyes rest heavy in their sockets. Eyelids just barely touching. And the space between the eyebrows broadens as all the muscles in the forehead relax. And muscles surrounding the ears rest. The ears with all their wrinkles and folds, the ear canals as well, all relax. Muscles of the back of the head, top of the head, and hairline rest. Neck and throat release. And shoulders melt away. Upper arms and elbows relax. Forearms and wrists release. And the palms, backs of the hands, knuckles, fingers, fingertips, whole hands alive with vibration. Whole hands alive with creative potential.
rest and integrate all that you practice. Upper back, middle and lower back, relax. Chest and belly gently rise and fall with the breath. Hips, glutes, pelvis, rest heavy, supported by the ground below. Thighs and knees melt away. Shins and calves relax. Ankles, heels, arches, toe ball mounds, tops of the feet, and all of the toes relax. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. Notice if in your mind, if even for one moment, there was silence in that inner dialogue. Notice if in your breath there's ease. Notice if in your body the places of tension have found space. And the places of restlessness have found peace. Allow for everything that did and did not happen in class today. And know that in yoga, practice makes practice. Nothing more and nothing less. And invite your inhalations to deepen and become longer and deeper than your exhalations. All that feeling of heaviness replaced with a feeling of lightness and openness, attention to the front side surface of the body. Fingers begin to wiggle and toes begin to curl. Head gently rocks side to side. And arms reach up overhead for a full body stretch.
Let your knees bend and roll over to whichever side feels natural, landing in a fetal position. Use that bottom arm as a pillow. Fully released and fully supported by the ground below you. Bring to mind any intention or dedication you set for class. And if that intention inspires you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed or gently lowered, press your hands into the ground to come up to a seated position just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. Today we worked on a series of hip opening postures through Chandra Namaskar Moon Salutations in honor of this weekend's new moon in Pisces. The first namaste is said silently to yourself, thanking your body for the effort it put into class. And the second namaste is said out loud to the community that held this space. Namaste. Thank you to everyone who joined me today. I appreciate you and I hope that you found something that serves you. Hi Greg, how are you? Namaste Bodhi. Yes, thank you for dropping the tips information. Tips are super appreciated, obviously never required. You're welcome here every day. But $5 does get you a recording of class with timestamps to all your favorite parts of class, all the meditations, the breath work, the movement, and so you don't have to like fast forward through all of me talking about tea and puppies and stuff. Namaste, Papa Mario. How's everyone feeling after class? How was that? Yeah, some moon salutations. We get to move our bodies in like different ways. Although I think I'll probably be bringing in more squats and more skandasana into class, like more deep squats, so that it's not like twice a month for full moon and new moon. All of a sudden we're in a deep squat for so long, and that can be really challenging. I think it's like challenging for everyone until it's not, except like little kids. Like when I was teaching kids yoga, we like didn't even have to warm up. They were just like, yeah, whatever, down for everything. But as for the rest of us, Papa Mario, I couldn't do some of the squats, but I feel better for trying. Yeah, good for you. Yeah, exactly. I think it's something we have to like work towards as adults. So I'll probably bring in more stuff that'll like prep us for that full moon. You know, next time we do our moon salutations, we'll already have some like foundational work. But it's really, really good for your knees and your hips. Once you can get into the pose safely, it's like one of the best things that you can do to really bring blood flow into those joints. It's just a matter of working your way up into it, because there's no skipping. There's no way to safely skip any steps in yoga. So it's like things are really, really good for you once you're in them. Until you get there, you just have to slowly work your way up, because forcing yourself into a shape is not good for you. So good for you for trying and for getting to whatever point in the posture works for you. All right, I got a couple friends on right now. Are we okay? I wish I could take a poll. Namaste, Linda. Oh, so glad you made it to class today. How was class for you? How are you feeling? How's everyone's weekend going? I'm gonna look for someone to raid, and I want to. Okay, so Sats and Reps, Musaboot, Professor Panda. So the Great Kind is on, and she usually talks about the science of breathing. So it's more like a talk show than an actual like movement show. Or we could go into Tai Chi. I Ping Tai Chi. I don't know. Who do we want to do? Well, let's do the Great Kind, because I feel like
She's not on as often. Sorry I missed most of it. Good to see everyone regardless. Oh, no worries. Did you sleep? Is it because you got some extra sleep because of daylight savings? This is a very valid excuse to miss class today. I was even in bed like, but it like starts at 8:30 my time, so I really have no excuse. But I definitely slept till 7:30 today, which would be 6:30, which is only like half an hour later than my like goal time to wake up. But I get it. I feel like underslept. I was like, oh, we're just doing easy class, and I remember, oh, it's Moon Salutations. It's gonna be hard work no matter what. Moon Salutations. I feel like that. I feel like Moon Salutations are like effort, like goddess pose. It's like strong, fiery, grounded, and then I know triangle can be like really challenging for people, but those deep squats, even for me, I'm like starting to sweat. All right, we're doing work, but yeah, it's one of those days. So yeah, because I've been honestly hanging out in Iping Tai Chi's, shout out to Iping Tai Chi's server all week, but I and which is cool. So I want to give the Great Kind some love, and she's another like female streamer here. I mean, so is Iping Tai Chi. But the Great Kind is another female streamer on here, and I want like making friends on here. So let's go over and say hi to her, give her some love. And she's probably talking some awesome science stuff that backs up everything that I say in a way more scientific and like academic way. Because like I know what I'm talking about, but I talk like this, so I don't think it sounds very authoritative. Looks like I'm late. Keshav, yes, we're about to read The Great Kind. So, but it's okay. Tomorrow, same time, same place. Yeah, we did some Chandra Namaskar today, some moon salutations. But nobody would know. Nobody would know that you were late. But I'm glad that you came in anyway. Namaste, my friend. Great to see you again. And let's go give the Great Kind some love. Let's go learn some science behind why we do pranayama, why we do breath work, and how we can oxygenate the blood. That's what she was talking about last time. So we'll see what she's talking about this weekend.